Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Joel.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Matt.
I'm Mimi.
I'm Megan. I'm Autumn.
I'm Jeff. I'm Grandpa.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Welcome back, everyone. We're finishing off on feeding this morning. Dad chopped a fresh load of silage, so that was the last thing we were waiting on, and now everything is finished.
Look out. Come on. Look out.
So yesterday the boys were working on third cutting alfalfa. Because it's third cutting, we didn't get too much, but the stuff looks really nice. And it's been so dry, so we figured it best to get this stuff baled and wrapped. Only one problem. We weren't able to get the wrapper yesterday, but we're getting it for this morning. So in the meantime, while Daniel gets the wrapper, I'm gonna start taking the bales up top. Watching the weather, and we are expecting a lot of rain today. In preparation for that, we actually picked a lot of vegetables yesterday because no one likes picking vegetables in the rain. Let me tell you, it's terrible. I got all the bales moved up here, and now all we have to do is wrap them. There wasn't too much there for third cutting. What we did get looks really, really nice though. What is that middle one supposed to mean? Daniel was marking the hay WA for wet alfalfa. As that stuff sits in the wrap, it will start to ferment and it will produce a wonderful feed for the animals. Well, there's a big job already accomplished this morning. Now we're gonna go see what the boys are picking. We found out where they were. Out in the red beets. We've been doing a really good job at harvesting our red beets. This is what the rows normally look like. You can see they're very full. And this over here is where we're harvesting. We have come through and taken a lot of the red beets.
We have some medium red beets ordered and some like real small golf ball sized ones, which take a while to get a basket of, so we're working on that.
I showed up late, but it looked like Matthew and Dad went through and picked a lot of these red beets. Now, normally when we pull the red beets, we put them on a pile and then we tear all the tops off. Now the size beets we're looking for are medium to large beets. So we're being very selective when we're pulling. Look at this one, this one's giant. That's crazy. We're being very selective when we pull because we don't want these smaller beets to be pulled out with the larger ones because they will continue to grow. It wasn't too difficult. We got all of our red beets harvested. Altogether 10 half bushel baskets of red beets. Yeah. Before we leave though, we got an order from Grammy that she needed some of her cylinder beets harvested. Now these cylinder beets are a little bit different. As you can see, they grow in a cylinder. And this makes them easier for slicing and jarring. And that just finished off our morning. They got the red beets washed and now in the cooler. I feel like we didn't get too much accomplished this morning because we weren't out in the fields picking, well, besides the red beets. But there were so many little jobs that need to be finished down around back, and dealing with that hay was a big job. We're gonna see what we're having for lunch. Meatball hoagies, ooh, that looks good. So we just finished our lunch and we were in watching the weather, and we are projected to get 2 to 3 inches of rain in our area. Although that rain is good for a lot of things, it leaves us with one little bitty problem. And that's what brings us down to the creek today. We've got to get the pump moved out of here. You can see how close our pump sits right next to the water. And because we are getting 3 inches of rain, there is a very big chance that this whole area here could be underwater. So rather than damaging our very important pump, we're gonna bring it home. We don't know if it's gonna flood down here. This is just a safety precaution, because if it does, we do not want to deal with that problem later on. See this right here? All these weeds? This is what happens when you don't cultivate your cabbage. That's a beautiful bin of cabbage, and Daniel's taking it back to the farm market. We just ran out of cabbage, so we wanted to make sure we got a bin back there, and we picked all different sizes. There's some larger heads, there's some smaller heads, something for everybody. It's getting much more cloudy, and there's a nice cool breeze rolling in. That means storms, so we're trying to get as much picked as possible. And the first thing we're gonna be harvesting is zucchini. I don't know, Dad. We've talked about harvesting zucchini so much lately. Is there anything new to even tell them?
Yeah, this zucchini is better than all the other zucchini.
I don't disagree with that statement. You okay, Brian?
Zucchini dripped me. The reason why we're picking zucchini every day, we need 8 baskets a day just for an order. So we have to keep up with that, plus the farm market.
Picking zucchini isn't my favorite job, but don't get me wrong, it's nice that we're able to sell all of this. As was mentioned before, we are picking this zucchini every day, so these zucchini aren't getting too large and they're staying nice and tender. Right now, Joel is pulling up the tractor. Dad told us that he needed us to harvest some spaghetti squash. I don't know if you've ever had spaghetti squash before. It's got like a slightly sweet flavor to it, a lot of vitamins, a lot of nutrients in it. It tastes really good. I wouldn't say it's as good as regular spaghetti, but this is a good squash alternative. Do you think spaghetti squash is as good as spaghetti?
Of course not.
Basket.
Finished with the spaghetti squash, on to the bell peppers. Beautiful. Holy moly, this pepper's huge. That's some nice peppies. Now when it comes to bell peppers, we raise 3 different varieties here on the farm. Oh wow, look at this one hiding. Boom, that's a gorgeous pepper. We raise Vanguard, King Arthur, and Revolution. We've raised other pepper varieties in the past, but as of right now, those 3 varieties are the ones we really like. That's one of the largest questions we'll get, like what varieties are you raising? And the neat thing about varieties is you can always try new. So if you see a new variety, don't be scared to try it because you might find the next best thing. If you find varieties that you really like we did with our bell peppers, keep planting them. I know we really enjoy it. Now that we're finished with the peppers, we moved over to the tomatoes, and we need round tomatoes, we need cherry tomatoes, we need plum tomatoes, we need a lot of tomatoes. So to get started, Dad is picking cherry, Matthew and Daniel are picking round tomatoes, and Joel and I are picking plum. Look at these guys, they're hidden down in here. Beautiful. Wow, 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 those are some nice tomatoes. I don't know about you guys, but I have been excited for tomato season to start. I have been waiting to pick plum tomatoes all year.
And that may sound a little weird, but I do thoroughly enjoy picking tomatoes. It's one of my favorite jobs on the farm. Getting started picking tomatoes early in the year is not as fun to me as it is later in the year. You'll notice as we go over top of the tomatoes, there is a clump that is ripe, there's another clump, and then there's nothing here until right about this spot. And that's just because it's still young for these tomatoes. They haven't all completely ripened up, but as they ripen up, we will come right down through and pick them all. Yeah, see, this is awesome. Look how beautiful they look. These plum tomatoes we're harvesting right now will most likely be used for canning, so we're trying to pick them all around the same ripeness. You can see these have a beautiful red color to them. When people are canning tomatoes, the skin comes off a lot easier the riper the tomatoes are. It would be a little difficult for our customers if they were to buy a basket of tomatoes and half of them were ripe and half of them weren't. So we try and keep them one ripeness all the way through. There we go. Beautiful. Now these tomatoes Joel and I are picking, the canning tomatoes, they can have some slight imperfections. You can see there's little cuts on there. That is okay. These are going to be used for sauce. They're going to be used for salsa, so they will end up getting chopped up completely. That's why it's okay when you buy canning tomatoes. They aren't supposed to be perfect, and they can have those little imperfections. If you come looking for canning tomatoes and you want them to be spotless, you're going to be paying a different price than what we sell for just these regular canning tomatoes. Canning tomatoes are not supposed to be number ones, but if you want number ones, you will be charged for number one tomatoes. It's just the way it works. Now with the round tomatoes, we raise 3 different varieties. With our plum tomatoes, we raise 2. The varieties are Mariana and Plum Crimson. Mariana is a longer, thinner tomato, and the Plum Crimson is a chubbier tomato. I don't know if that's like the correct term, chubbier, but it's just easier for me to describe it that way.
You getting on? We just got back from harvesting everything and we're washing up a few of the vegetables.
That's my dad.
We've got all our bell peppers cleaned off, and these were some cherry tomatoes that Dad had got picked. He got some Juliet, orange grape, and some sweet cherry. We just got the tomatoes unloaded and onto the porch. Now we did get a heavy rain early this morning, so we were just cleaning them off, trying to make them look nice. It's kind of crazy that this right here is like the unofficial start to canning season, but I guess we're off to the races. Get my way, Dad! My dad is causing a vegetable jam. We're trying to get the wagon unloaded. He's leaving pallets everywhere. What are you doing?
I gotta get this out.
Isn't it funny he just stops all of our work because he wants to finish his?
You guys got lots of work to do. Let's go.
Dad just told me we have an order for sweet corn, so we're gonna go pick that. How's your sweet corn, guys?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to get another ear to see if it's any good. I have to wonder.
That's pretty good.
I have to wonder how much sweet corn we really eat in a year.
You probably eat about 20 ears of sweet corn a week.
Yeah, probably. Raw. Uncooked. And then we go home and Mom makes sweet corn for dinner.
You see all these girls are telling you what to do in here.
I know, I've lost control of everything.
I trained them well.
Just like that, we got the farm market all closed up. Woo-wee. We made it up into the house for dinner, and boy, is there a spread on the table.
Halupkis and fried zucchini, mashed potatoes and red beets.
Everything looks so good. Say hello, YouTube. How you doing? We're sleepy right now. We're really sleepy. Alrighty, we're gonna sit down and enjoy some dinner, so this is where we're gonna end the video. We want to thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.